Hi, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Rainbow Ange. Thanks for joining me today. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, and often I have little segments at the end of the videos about what's been happening in my shop during the week. I run a small bricks and mortar yarn shop here in South Wales in the UK, just outside of Cardiff, and the shop is called Yarn and Yarns, the same as the channel, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook as Yarn and Yarns. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am super excited and still a little bit terrified that my subscriber numbers are slowly creeping up still, and we have popped just on over the 300 subscriber mark, so thank you all so much for spending time with me. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new here, then hop on back to a couple of episodes ago, as my 250 subscriber giveaway is still open, and I will be drawing a prize winner for that in the next episode. But if you leave a comment below, all the details of what you need to do are in that video. If you leave a comment below that video, you could be in with a chance of winning a pattern of your choice from Ravelry. So there's still time to enter that if you are new here, or even if you're not and you just haven't got around to it, then now is the time to hop on over and leave a comment there. I would like to thank three lovely ladies who have all mentioned me in their videos recently. Linny, Sharon and Anita. They all have channels here on YouTube too, so I'll pop links to those below. If you're looking for new videos to watch, then you can hop on over and check those ones out if you don't already. This week I have been working on some of my oldest works in progress. So again, if you are new, this year I am trying to set myself a little goal of alternating how I work on my projects. So one week I'll work on whatever I like, and the next week I'll work on some of the oldest things that are on my needles, hooks and spindles. And for anyone who is interested, my current whip count, not including spinning, is 28 whips. I know that will probably freak some of you out. If you include my spinning whips, that goes up to 32. But it's not something that bothers me. I would be happy with twice as many projects on the needles. I love having just choice and options and being able to flick between things and just work on whatever my heart fancies. So I've got all of the usual segments for you this week, so we shall get on and do this. So first off, I thought I'd chat to you about my spinning adventures this week. I'm still really enjoying spinning. The oldest project on my spindles at the moment is using some beautiful Llanwenog. Don't know if my Welsh pronunciation is not up to par, I'm afraid. So Llanwenog sheep, which I believe is a traditional Welsh breed, and I picked up this beautiful fibre at Wonderwall, which is the fibre festival that happens here in Wales every year. And I started spinning this fibre not long after I purchased it. I had quite a break from spinning, but this year I'm trying to do a little bit of spinning every day, and so it was time to get back to the Llanwenog. I had lots of little bumps of spun fibre hanging around where I'd sort of tackled this every now and then. So I decided to ply up everything that I had hanging around, which has been quite nice. It's taken probably most of my spinning time this week to ply up these two little braids of fibre. If I just show you the yarn that I'm getting with this lovely natural colour. This is just short of 100 meters of yarn, and it's sort of fingering to DK, as I tend to get. So yeah, I'm really pleased to have made this yarn up this week. After applying this, I also started spinning the next little batch. So this is being spun on my Spin City UK resin spindle with the pressed flowers and the glitter. And this was probably, yeah, I think this was my first fancy spindle that I purchased. And for any of you who are interested, I have named this spindle Juliet. It's quite kind of romantic. So yeah, I decided Juliet was the perfect name for this one. I have still got quite a lot of this fibre left. I think I must have bought a bag of about 100 grams. This week I have weighed what I have left to spin up, and I've got about 70 grams. I think I probably have about 15 grams here, and I'm pretty sure that I might have grabbed some bumps of this and put them in swap packages and parcels over the last couple of years since I purchased this. But I now think I have a plan. So what I've done is I divided the remaining fibre into 4, and I am going to spin up each quarter of what's left and then make that up into yarn. The lovely Mars, who is Hey Brownberry here on the YouTubes and also on Instagram, asked me last week about how I ply my yarn, and I don't think I mentioned that in the video, so thank you for reminding me about that aspect of my spinning. At the moment I am basically two-plying everything because I am still pretty new at spinning. Although I've been spinning on and off for a couple of years, I haven't really done it regularly enough to kind of get into any kind of confidence with it, and I am certainly no expert. So at the moment I'm just two-plying everything. However, in the future that might change. I'm still working my way through the Respect the Spindle book, and I've finished all of the sort of background information about the types of spindles and the history of spinning and all that good stuff, and I'm now really onto the technique section. So I'm hoping that in future I will experiment a little bit more with both my spinning methods and also my plying techniques, but for now I'm just two-plying everything. I've split the fibre that I have remaining from the purchase that I made at Wonderwall into 4 so that I can spin it up and then two-ply them together. I have an idea that I would like to knit a hilltop, I think it's called, shawl from this yarn. It's a pattern by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade. I've knit a few of her shawls before, and they're always really nice to knit up. And one of my lovely friends gifted me the pattern for my birthday last year. I started knitting it, but I ended up frogging it because I didn't like the yarn and pattern combination that I'd started. But somehow it just popped into my mind the other day that I think this, in its undyed state, would make a beautiful hilltop shawl, which is a pattern with like garter stitch and eyelets, and yeah, I think it's going to be really, really pretty. So my aim is to try and spin my way through as much of this fibre as I can before this year's Wonderwall, in the hopes that if I need more, then the lovely seller will be there again and I can pick up some more to add to my shawl. If they're not, I don't think it will really matter. I'll pick up something else and pair it with this. But I think I might cast on the hilltop shawl fairly soon. The good thing about the Curious Handmade patterns is she has a percentage system. So as you're working through your rows, she tells you how far through your yarn you're likely to be. So I'm thinking if I cast this on soon, I might work my way through. Then hopefully by the time Wonderwall gets here at the end of April, I'll have a good idea of whether what I have is enough to work up a hilltop shawl or not. So keep your fingers crossed for me. Still got a long way to go on that. But yeah, I'm pleased to have plied up the bumps that I've had hanging around for ages, and it's really nice to be back spinning with this fibre. The fibre is beautifully prepared. It's like spinning cotton wool, which is just gorgeous. But the downside is it's like cotton wool. It's very fine and fly away, and it's got a fairly short staple length. So it can be a little bit tricky to spin, or at least for me as a fairly beginner spinner. So I end up with quite a few really thin bits on my spinning, but it has this gorgeous fluffy halo to the fibre once you've spun it up, which kind of mirrors the lovely cotton wooliness of the prepared fibre. So yeah, I am thrilled to now have a plan. I purchased obviously quite a lot of this fibre, and yeah, I think I lost my way with it a little bit because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do with it. But now I have a plan. I'm excited to be working back on that again. I may have also made a little purchase this week, and I have no idea how this is going to work out, but I've always fancied having a Turkish spindle, and I've seen a few around at various fibre shows that I've been to over the last few years, and never really seen anything that actually took my fancy. And then I was hunting around on Etsy the other day, and I came across someone who was selling some 3D printed Turkish spindles, and the spindle and postage cost me less than £15, so I figured I might as well go for it. So here is my teeny tiny little Turkish spindle. I have never spun on a Turkish spindle before. One of the things that attracted me to this particular seller was I was able to choose my colours. So of course I picked orange with a grey shaft. And if you haven't seen a Turkish spindle before, it sort of comes apart into little pieces. And when you spin your yarn, you wind it into a ball around the arms. So that's quite a fun little feature, and I'm excited to give it a go. I have no idea whether this is good quality or not in terms of a Turkish spindle, and it's very, very light, so it weighs only 15 grams, and most of my other spindles are around the 25 to 35 gram mark in terms of weight. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how I get on with this and whether I am actually competent enough to spin on such a light spindle. But I figured for less than £15, I think all told it was £12.50. So I mean, you can easily spend that on coffee each week if you buy yourself a cup of coffee every day, can't you? So I figured it was worth taking a little punt on it to see how it works up. And just in case anyone is interested, I came from creative3dprinting.etsy.com. and it shipped really quickly. Considering these, I guess, are printed to order, it took less than a week between me ordering it to it arriving through my letterbox. So yeah, I'll let you know how I get on with that, obviously, as I start using it. Time to talk crochet. My oldest project on the hooks is a blanket project, and I decided to pull that out and work on it this week. This project has probably been on the hook for a couple of years. I've lost steam with it because it's a lot of sewing up, and yeah, I just wasn't really enjoying it. I kind of fell out of love with it. To be honest, if I'd read the pattern properly, I probably would never have started this blanket in the first place had I realised it was all sewing, and there's not really an easy way to change that and crochet together. But anyway, it's from this book, which is Crochet, Throws and Wraps by Melody Griffiths. And I'm working on a project called the Navajo blanket, which is this one here. So I'm making this in acrylic yarns, pretty cost effective. I have got some Stylecraft Life Aran, which is the wool acrylic blend. I've also got some Special Aran, which is the 100% acrylic. And on top of that, I have some Sirdar Super Soft Aran and some Hayfield. I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but it's from Hayfield and it's their Aran. This one came in a big 400 gram ball, and it's actually left over from a blanket that I made for my brother and sister-in-law a little while ago. And this was actually one of the things that spurred me on to start this blanket. I wanted to use up these leftovers. But as I say, this has been languishing in a basket for quite some time because I have not really been enjoying the crochet of it. But I got a fair way through it, and I figured it was time to bite the bullet and just pull it out and make a plan to get this thing finished. So when I picked it up, I had the big centre piece done. Pushed you back a little bit so I can try and get more of this in shot. But as you can see, you start working out a diamond shape and then you fill in the corners. I picked this up again this week. I had the diamond done to this brown round. So I've decided I'm not going to make the blanket any bigger, like the diamond any bigger as such. I'm just going to work on squaring it off from here and then adding a border. So I managed to add, turn it this way up, I have managed to add this pink section and also this brown section down in this corner. It's a bit tricky to show you exactly what I've managed, but you can kind of see from here where I have added this week. Sorry, in the process of pushing you back to show you the blanket, my phone came tumbling from its perch, so the angle might be slightly different, but standard. No change from my usual podcasting chaos. Yeah, so I have, in addition to adding those 2 rows, I have also crocheted up a few more of the squares that are required. You work the squares in sort of 2 halves, starting from the widest part, and then you decrease down, and then you have to sew them together, which is why, because these stepped decreases, it's tricky to be able to crochet it together because you have to sort of line them up and sew them in, which is why I haven't worked on it for ages, because I'm just not enjoying the process. However, having said that, it has not been too bad to work on it this week, and I am enjoying the fact that I'm actually making progress and this thing might actually get finished. The little basket that it's living in will be freed up and won't be taking up a corner in my craft room, being ignored and languishing. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this blanket. I originally started the blanket for me, but I've fallen a little bit out of love with it. I still love the colours, but I think just the whole process of it has put me off a little bit. But it's quite messy in terms of, it took me a while to get into how to sew up the pieces. So on the back, it is not the tidiest. So I did think I might gift the blanket. I've been wanting to make a blanket for my mother-in-law for a little while, but I'm not sure if the untidiness is kind of putting me off of gifting it. But yeah, there's a long way to go until it's finished, so I don't need to really make any decisions on that for a while. Because it's Aran weight yarn, I'm working it up on a 6mm hook, which is a USJ. So yeah, the little pieces actually work up really quickly, but sewing it together takes forever. Finally, on to knitting. I have one finished object, which is actually a little sample from the shop. I recorded a little section from the shop on that a couple of days ago, so I'm going to pop that in here. I have just one finished object to show this week. In my video last week, I shared in my shop talk section this lovely rainbow yarn from Queensland collection. This is their Perth range. It's an 80% superwash Australian merino, 20% nylon blend, and I think I said I'd be casting on straight away with that yarn, and I did. So I've knit up a little shop sample, hence why I'm recording this little section here at the shop, because these are here. But I thought I'd cast on just a pair of little wrist warmers, as I wanted a sample to show how this lovely yarn knit up, and I knew that I wouldn't have time with everything else that I have going on at the moment to knit a full sock. And I've been wearing wrist warmers quite a lot recently. I have been finding they've been really helping my hands, so yeah, I thought I'd whip up a quick pair of wrist warmers. So yeah, really fun. I love this colourway. All of this left from the ball. This must be only, I don't know, maybe 10 grams or less for these wrist warmers, so I will be able to make myself a pair of socks with the remainder of this yarn just as soon as I have time. I also decided to crochet up the beginnings of a little square just to show how this yarn would work up in crochet as well. So I love this. I just love the bright colours. They're really fun, and they're really fun just to have these in the shop as a sample, and they've attracted quite a lot of interest, I guess, because of the really fun bright colours. And we've had quite a lot of greyness here in South Wales recently, although we do have sunshine today, which is nice. I've just noticed that I think on the second wrist warmer I've made my ribbing 1 or 2 rounds shorter than the first one, but that's okay, no one's going to know. Only me and you, now I've told you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to wear these once I have finished them with them as a sample in the window. This is what they look like on. I just cast on 60 stitches, did a few rounds of ribbing, and then a few rounds of stockinette to make these up. I knit them on 2.25mm needles. I think I just used the Knit Pro Basics, the birch line, because that's what I had hanging around in the shop here. I cast these on the Friday after I recorded my little segment, and I finished them on Saturday, so they didn't take long at all. When you think on it, it's basically half the leg of a sock, isn't it? So yeah, a really fun quick project and a nice way to knit up a quick sample and show off the loveliness of the yarn. And then I also have 2 works in progress to show you this week. I have actually worked on a couple of other projects for commission work, but both of those are at the shop and I forgot to bring them home, so I'll probably show you those next week. First off is the test knit that I am doing for my friend Rosie, who is Rosie's Fibre Adventures, and I showed you the leg of this sock that I was test knitting her last week, and I have one sock completely finished now. So this is the twist sock pattern. I forgot to bring my blocker up with me, but it's this lovely cable pattern, cable and rib kind of pattern that travels all the way up the leg and the foot, and obviously on the back of the leg too, with a eye of partridge heel, which is really lovely. I've really enjoyed this design. It's a 6-row pattern repeat, so it's really one of those where you just want to get to the next repeat, The yarn I'm using is Wendy Rome, and I have got that finished, and I have just cast on for the second sock, so nothing other than a cuff to show you on the second sock. I'm knitting these on 2.25mm Knit Pro Zings. I'm not sure when the pattern is going to be released, but I have been able to give Rosie my feedback on the pattern, having finished one sock. So yeah, I'll keep you updated if the socks are released soon. When the pattern is released, I don't know if I'll have that second sock finished, but I'm aiming to carry on working on that this week. And this is living in a lovely project bag from Robin, who is Medieval Listing on Instagram and Stitching Between Pages on YouTube. So the twist sock is not my oldest work in progress, but because it is a test knit, I wanted to keep working on that throughout the week. The oldest work in progress on my needles is a really plain sweater called the Dern, and it is part of the Rowan Valley Tweed collection. They released a pattern book along with the yarn when that came out, probably a year and a half ago. So I have been working on this sweater again this week. It's a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, tweedy, beautiful wool. As you can see, I'm working in this lovely rusty orange colourway, and I already knit the back and the 2 sleeves, so just the front to go. So it's the front that I picked up and started working on. In December I cast on the front and knit the rib because it had been languishing in its project bag. This is a bag that I've made from some lovely fabric from Poppy Treefy, who is a designer here in the UK. And the project just been languishing because the front wasn't cast on, and it's just backwards and forwards stocking stitch. So it's quite good TV knitting. It was just that hurdle of not having the cast on done was holding me back. This week I have managed to put quite a good dent in this. So here is my progress on the front. So this lovely progress keeper is a new acquisition. So I purchased this week from Mrs. U Makes. So here is her card, and you can find her on Ravelry as Mrs. U Makes. There's also Instagram and Facebook account, and she makes some lovely stitch markers, and I think she has some pattern designs as well. So this was one of the things that I purchased from Diane, which is a lovely coral progress keeper, and when I saw this in her shop in my favourite colour orange, I knew it had to come and live with me. So this has been hanging out on my Dern sweater. So this is where it was when I picked it up at the beginning of the week. As you can see, I have knit, considering this is a finer weight yarn on 3mm needles, I have knit quite a lot of this week. I think I have maybe about 5 or so centimetres to go, a couple of inches to go before I start doing armhole shaping and neck shaping. This sweater, there is a choice of a round neck or a V-neck. I have now made a fair few round neck sweaters, so I think I'm going to go for a V-neck on this one. This shop bought that I'm wearing today is a V-neck. I don't own many V-necks, but I thought it'd make a nice change. There's not huge amounts to say about this. It's just backwards and forwards stockinette stitch. So yeah, but I can see the end is in sight now. I've just got the front to do, and then I can sew it up and wear it, hopefully. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm in two minds as to, because next week is a week where I can work on whatever I like. I'm in two minds as to whether to put this away, come back to it, or whether just to plough on. But my Darumi sweater is also calling to me, as is the other 2 sweaters that I cast on. That's part of my 12 cast-ons of Christmas. Too many sweaters and not enough time. So yeah, that is my Dern. As well as the coral progress keeper, I also purchased from Mrs. U Makes these really sweet Make One stitch markers. So I bought a yellow one and a grey one, and I thought they were really fun, and I think these will definitely end up hanging out on my next shawl project, as often when you're knitting shawls you have those Make One increases to do at some point. So yeah, I think these will be really fun to have hanging out on my next shawl project. Maybe the hilltop sweater. Time for a little bit of shop talk. I have not actually achieved much in the shop this week. Nothing that exciting has been happening. It's tax season here in the UK, so I have until the middle of next week to get my tax return completed. Boo. The decidedly unglamorous side of running your own small business. So most of my admin time and the time that I use for doing other little bits and pieces, like changing the window display and filming videos, has been taken up by all of the tax admin. So yeah, I apologise, no shop tour again this week, but it is still on my mind and I will get to it. I also want to say a big thank you in this section, as a number of you have contacted me about some of the products that I have shown in this section over the last few weeks and have been kind enough to place orders. I'm now out of stock of the Knit How pom-pom book for the time being. A few people contacted me after the book review video that I put up, and I also showed that book briefly in last week's episode. I am also now low on stock in the Baramu drawstring bags, so thank you so much to everyone who was interested enough in those products to place an order with me. I really do appreciate it, particularly as I still don't have a dedicated website. So if there is anything that you see, then by all means, please contact me and we can have a chat about that. Anyway, that was a bit of a longer ramble than I anticipated. Thank you for supporting my small business. I really, really do appreciate it. I don't have much new in the shop this week. I do have a few new season patterns from one of our commercial companies, Serdar, and that's about it really for new products, but I will quickly show you some of them because they are cute. And I know a lot of the podcasts that I watch, there's a big sort of support for indie dyers, indie designers, and very rightly so, but not much mention of commercial yarns and patterns often. The commercial companies have some lovely patterns, so yeah, I thought I'd just show you some of the new season patterns that I bought in. Most of them are for baby and toddlers. That's the thing that sort of rotates quickly here in the shop. I do have tons of patterns for adult garments and things like that, homewares, everything that you can imagine, but it's the sort of baby garments that a lot of people are interested in. So they are the ones that I tend to buy most often. So I've got a couple of crochet patterns. Crochet patterns are more difficult to find than knit patterns, but I have this really sweet set for a crocheted jacket, hat, blanket and booties, which is a really nice one. I also couldn't resist these really cute simple teddy bears, which are also a crochet pattern. I think these will be a fabulous way of using up bits and pieces. Look at all the fun colours in that one, and doesn't he just look so cute? I love them, just really simple, non-complicated little stuffy there. And also this blanket, which I really like. There's a couple of there's a V-stitch blanket which is fairly straightforward, but I really like this one with the sort of pops of colour going through. And then for knitting, I've got quite a big wodge of patterns, so I won't show you them all, but I'll show you a couple of the most popular ones that have seemed to have taken the fancy of a lot of people here in the shop so far. So there is this one in the Crofter, which is the Fair Isle Effect yarn. This is quite a nice easy knit simple cardigan pattern, which people have been really enjoying. There's also this really cute little couple of dinosaurs, again in the Baby Crofter. I think I might need to make one of those. I think they're adorable. Look at those big old feet. The most popular pattern so far has been this really cute elephant jumper. So there's a hooded version and a non-hooded version, so a little bit of intarsia, and then you add these gorgeous elephant ears on, which is really super cute. And then the final one that I'll show you is this one, which is a really pretty lace yoked top. So again, that one has been pretty popular since it's arrived this week. I've sold multiple copies of all of those patterns. I do have some others, but as I say, I won't bore you by going through all of them. And the other pattern that's not baby related or toddler related, I picked up a new hat pattern just because I was quite low. Obviously it's that time of year where a lot of people are knitting beanies and hats. So this pattern has got lovely collection of 4 different designs, from a simple sort of ribbed beanie, cabled hat, very close fitted beanie there, and then a nice slouchy hat with pom-pom. So that's it for the shop section this week. As always, I hope you have enjoyed me rambling on a little bit about life here in the shop. Not really much else to report on the shop side of things this week. It's been a really busy week here, which I am very grateful for. As I say, I've had a few people contacting me for mail orders, and I also have had a busy week here in the shop. All of the groups have been busy, and yeah, people have been buying, which I am really grateful for. Running a small business is always pretty tricky. You know, not everyone passing is going to be popping in for a ball of yarn, because not everyone knits or crochets. You really have to be coming here to be coming here. So yeah, I'm grateful for feeling pretty tired this week, because it means that it has been a good week in the shop. That's it for Shop Talk this week. As always, if you have any questions related to what happens here in the shop or otherwise, then please leave comments below and I'll be happy to answer if I can. So that's everything for this week. I feel like I was working on my projects a fair amount, but I don't feel like that really I achieved that much, but I guess I did. But probably not the most exciting of episodes, seeing as there's a lot of just round around stocking out on that darn sweater to show you. But I guess some weeks are just like that, aren't they? I think I'm going to wrap things up here and as always, I hope you have a wonderful week and that you're able to do some of the things that you enjoy doing. Until next time, great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.